What's up, guys? We're at the old PlayStation 2, so on that now. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't made a video in months. Well, about a month and a half. Feels like months. A lot of shit's gone down between then and now. Got back into Japanese wrestling. Finally got to see some of the footage from the Best of Super Juniors. Some tidy matches on that show. Some very, very nice Japanese wrestling. Japanese and wrestling, they go together like not really using American metaphors, so let's go with something British, like good old British fish and chips. Capital Punishment sucked. Slammiversary, a TNA pay-per-view, was actually better than a WWE pay-per-view, and the Slammiversary wasn't that good either. It was better than Capital Punishment to me though. Alberto Del Rio, arguably my favourite wrestler right now, is completely wasted. CM Punk faced Rey Mysterio in their fourth one-on-one match, and it wasn't even that good. Riley went over me, which I was talking about, but the match wasn't that great. Dolph Ziggler went over Kofi Kingston in a decent-ish match to become the new US champion, which I was also happy about. But at the same time, Kofi didn't really gain anything from his brief US title run, and the finish was a bit iffy. The match was decent, one of the, if not the best, one of the best matches on the card. Elsewhere, you had the world title match between Christian and Randy Orton, which was another good match, but had a dodgy finish. Again, this time Christian's foot was underneath the bottom right. What can you say? WWE just likes screwing Christian. You had a bonus match on the card. It was Evan Bourne and Jack Swagger, and that was crap. Oh, and then there was of course the ball fest between Ezekiel Jackson and Wade Barrett, which is always going to be awful, because it was between Ezekiel Jackson and Wade Barrett, who's lost all of his heat from his Nexus days, all the heat he had built up. Lost it all. Last time he did anything of relevance was at the Royal Rumble, when he was one of the third to last eliminated behind Santino and Orton. Last time I remember him being relevant, and the main event was what turned out to be a very disappointing match between R-Truth and John Cena, which had so much potential because it had been built so well. R-Truth was built like this insane, crazed heel who felt he'd been fucked over by the system, and he actually bought it. It wasn't a complete waste. He was built very, very well. But the match wasn't good, because it was Cena. And you can't really expect a great match from Cena the way he wrestles these days. As far as Slammiversary goes, really you didn't have that many great matches in the card. Through the card you had tag title match, which was pretty good. The Beer Money with Alex Shelley standing in for Robert Roode, James Storman, Alex Shelley, against the British Invasion, Doug Williams and British Madness, which was a good match. Very good match. British Invasion was a very good tag team. I've always liked the British Invasion, not just because I'm British, but I love Doug Williams' in-ring work. I think he's one of the best wrestlers TNA have. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I mean, he's not Daniel Bryan, but when it comes to technical wrestling, there are very, very few that are better than him. Very few, at least in my opinion. The beer guns, as I call them, beer guns, they went over. A bit disappointed by this actually. I think the team that seemed next in line to challenge for the titles are Mexican America, and I'm not looking forward to that because Mexican America suck. You also had Matt Morgan as a signing, which is better than it had any right to be, but was still shit. That's all I have to say about that one. At least the white guy went over, that's the only good thing I have to say about that. Matt Morgan went over. Who else did you have? You had Crimson versus Mojo, which is disappointing. It was a fair match, but you just tell Joe didn't care. You had an awful, one of the worst X Division title matches I've ever seen. In Abyss retains the title against Brian Kendrick and Kazarian, and they were just booked to look like idiots. Abyss was it was a 2-on-1 match, and Abyss squashed them both. Abyss got the pin on Kazarian, and that takes what now for Kazarian, and what now for the X Division in general? Who's going to beat Abyss? What X Division star can beat Abyss? Just stupid booking. Going through the rest of the card. Oh god, it's so forgettable. You had an awful knockouts match between Angelina Love and Mickey James. And Mickey James went over, and then you had the post-match beat down from the two heels. Rita, who's still got Angelina Love hypnotised, and Angelina, of course. You had good lord, this card was incredibly forgettable. Oh, you had the stupid last man standing match between AJ and Brother Ray, and Bully Ray even, as he's now referred to as. The match was alright, but the finish was another shoddy finish. Well, basically, they were both out. Styles did a elbow drop off the staging. Macho Man elbow drop off the staging onto Brother Ray. Brother Ray was down. Count got to, I think it was 6 or 7, and then Brother Ray kicks AJ. AJ's to his feet. He's leaning over, but he's on his feet. Count's still going. 7, I think. Then Brother Ray kicks him in the backside, and he goes through like a wooden part of the stage. And the referee carries on the count. 7, 8, 9, and then Bully Ray gets up at 9, and the referee calls for the bell. So not only did he not restart the count when AJ got to his feet, but he also didn't count to 10, which I think is ridiculous. Just the stupid botch endings, or it's not even botch, it's just poorly done, poorly executed, and poorly put together by a poor booking committee. TNA booking really needs to sort themselves out, because they've not been booking right since 2006 to me. The company's not going to get anywhere until they do fix the booking. Um, then you had the two main events. You had the final battle between Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett, with Angle's medals on the line, where he gets a shot at the world title. That was the main event. I'll get to the next match in a minute. Kurt Angle went over in what was probably, well, what was almost certainly the best match of the night. Good match. These two tend to put on good matches when there's no silly gimmicks or anything involved. When it's just a straight up one-on-one match. No Karen Angle, or Karen Jarrett or whatever she is. None of her. No stupid stipulations, no MMA bullshit or whatever. No cage or anything. Just a straight up one-on-one match, and those two put on another good match. They put on two good matches, two good one-on-one matches before. One at Bound for Glory and one at Genesis. I can't remember what year. It was recent, 2009 maybe. But those two put on good matches before, and they did another one here. Of course, this wasn't actually their last match because they go on to based on Impact and Jarrett being banished to Mexico. And then the actual main event you had in the World Title match, you had Sting defend his title against Mr. Anderson, and Anderson went over to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, which I was happy about. But the match itself wasn't great. Anderson did his best to try and get Sting to work, although Sting should have been working this match really because he's the fucking world champion. He's probably he's the longest active guy on the roster, I think. He's been active for longer than anybody else on the roster, I think. On the actual official active roster. Or he's up there. He's definitely one of the most by a good way. It's just stupid. I like the finish actually though, I must admit. You had Bischoff come down when he said he wouldn't, which is typical Bischoff. And you had Garrett Bischoff, the referee for the match, count 1, and then Bischoff slapped his hand down, counted 2, as Sting was getting a pin on Anderson after a Scorpion death drop. And the Garrett Bischoff counts 2, and Sting's heard the two counts, so the count from Eric and the count from the referee. So he's had 2 counts from the referee and 1 from Bischoff, thinking it's 3 counts, so he's got to celebrate. And I love that. Although just after, I think that was very that was very clever. But what happened after with the Anderson low blow? Anderson just low blowed the Sting right in front of the referee, and then nailed the mic check, and the referee didn't do anything. That was a bit too much for me. The low blow was unnecessary for me. Unless they're actually going to go somewhere with it. I don't know if they did on Impact, but I don't think they did, so unnecessary. But it is what it is. It's TNA. I don't really expect a lot from TNA. They were lucky I watched the show. But it was better than Capital Punishment. I mean, I managed to talk about it for longer, and it managed to keep my interest for longer because I actually fell asleep during my first sitting of Capital Punishment. Fell asleep during the Del Rio match / segment, so I was so pissed off. I like the thing they did with Mark Henry, but because it gives him something to do, and it gives Big Show something to do, which means that they're not going to be ruining our lives whilst facing somebody that we might actually be wanting to see. They'll be facing each other, so everybody's got a toilet break. Brilliant. It's not what the women's match. You can actually go and have a nice relaxing dump and not have to worry that you might miss something interesting because Mark Henry and the Big Slow are going to be in the ring. Brilliant. Brilliant idea, WWE. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. Thinking about the older fan. It's the first time they've done that in years. But yeah, that's about it in the mainstream wrestling world. ROH have a pay-per-view coming up in a couple of days, and I'm going to be doing. I'll do a preview of that probably the day before. I'll probably do a preview of that on Saturday, but I'm not overly positive on the undercard. I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was a normal ROH pay-per-view, but it's not. They're billing it as the biggest show in ROH history, and I think that's a big billing to live up to, especially with the undercard that they have, and especially without Roderick Strong, who I think is probably he's the longest running member of the roster, and he's one of the best wrestlers for me. And obviously he's in Japan, so, and there are very few exports as well. I think if this is going to be the best Ring of Honor show of all time, they need to pull out all the stops. They need to get in guys like Kenta and Morishima and anybody that they can really get in. Kenny Omega, just guys like that. And they don't really have anybody. They brought in Jay Lethal for this show. That's a start. That's something. No TJ Perkins, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. I would like to have seen him on the show. Again, like I said, I'll talk more about that, the Best of the World show, on Saturday when I do my preview. So this has been my return video of sorts. It was a bit rambly, but what can you do? Do feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Peace.